The opinions expressed in the following programs are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers nor Rogers TV.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Welcome to another episode of In Conversation with Alethia. I am your host, Alethia O'Hara-Stephenson. In this show, we have conversations with amazing individuals that are doing incredible things in our community. The show will educate, it will empower you, and it will inspire you. So be sure to tune in each and every week. In the studio, I am honored to have an amazing individual, Cheryl Spalding. She is an entrepreneur, and she is a wellness coach. She is an inspirational leader who has done incredible things connecting amazing leaders in our community. She is also a contributing author to one of my favorite authors, Jerry Visca, who is a transformational novelist. Cheryl Spalding has done amazing things in our community, connecting amazing women, artists, writers, poets, painters, you name it. And I would love to I call her my soulful sister. Aww. So welcome, Cheryl. And today's episode, we're going to be talking about the soulful connections. And in the second episode, the path to possibilities. So welcome.
Thank you so much. It's truly an honor to be here with you. I've watched you grow and transform yourself since I met you a few years ago. And we've been on such a beautiful journey. And to find ourselves here today, connecting in this way, is truly a beautiful thing.
I love it. You talk about, our journey, and, we met a few years ago, and it was literally that, a soulful connection, right?
Yes, it was.
We were sitting just as we are today across from each other, having a wonderful conversation, and we decided to just take that conversation further, and here we are.
Isn't it amazing?
Absolutely.
It's amazing what happens in soulful conversation and connections, because it just takes us deeper, and it just allows beautiful things to unfold, because I think we're conscious.
Right.
We're conscious of our connection and the opportunities that can unfold when we really do connect in that soulful way.
Absolutely. And I know you had the opportunity to connect some amazing leaders in the community. What was so important? Why was it important for you to have that connection with all of these amazing individuals?
I feel that's something that I've always been drawn to create throughout my life. Bringing, in particular, women together has been something that I have done unconsciously. I just love the power, and I love the camaraderie and the empowerment that women bring to each other. We liberate each other when we're together. There's a sense of freedom and liberation, connection and support that we give each other when we come together like that. Yes. And so that's always I've always felt very inspired to create those kinds of connections.
Wonderful. I love that. And you talk about connections, and one of the things that you wrote about in your chapter was embracing your fears and that unknown, right? Taking that challenge and just embracing the possibility of the future. What was that experience like? And I know you talked about traveling from your hometown, your small town community, Red River, and facing the world ahead of you. What was that experience like?
Well, it was scary. There's no doubt. Coming from a small town where you grew up, where everybody knew you and you knew everyone, and there was so much security and closeness. So that leap of faith to leave that behind took a lot of courage. I will say it took a lot of courage, and it was scary, but there was something calling me. And even from a young age, I believe I always had this, and I don't know where it came from, but there was always a belief in a greater power that was leading me, and trusting in that. And that's what I did. I opened myself up to trust, to trust myself, to trust this larger energy, power that I just had faith in. And I just wanted to give myself the opportunity to let my life unfold. And I wanted to observe that journey and be open to whatever would come, and
Whatever
just trusted that the possibilities that would come, and the opportunities of just allowing myself to trust that I would be okay, that whatever happened would happen for a reason. And there's an element of excitement and adventure.
Yes, I love that.
Kind of
And one of the things you talked about is courage, right? Having the courage to trust, even though you didn't know what the path ahead of you was going to be like, right? You just let the path unfold in front of you.
Right.
When you as a wellness coach, a women's empowerment and wellness coach, what advice would you give to women who oftentimes, in their careers, they feel like they're stuck, right? They feel like, because they're a mom, this is all that they're supposed to do and nothing else.
Right.
But you were able to leave your small town and thrive, face the world head on and thrive. So what advice would you give to anyone who feels that perhaps they're stuck?
Well, it comes back to soulful connection, really, because our GPS is inside of us. It is our soul, ultimately, that guides us forward. And I believe women have to go deeper. They have to look deeper within themselves for the guidance, for that intuitiveness that allows them to know what the next right step is. And as women, we're faced with these shifts and changes in our life many times over. Leaving my hometown was the very first transition.
Right.
There was many, many more difficult and challenging decisions that I had to make. But from that experience, or perhaps walking through that fear and that scariness, prepared me for what was to come. And so I would say to women, connect first with yourself on a deeper level. And when you feel stuck, and when you feel confused and anxious and those negative feelings, ask yourself the question that you're searching for. Literally say it out loud.
Right.
Ask yourself, and be patient with the answer, and give yourself space and quiet and peace to listen in, to hear that voice. And secondly, connect to that and believe and connect with that higher power that is always working and organizing around you for your own success. And the third thing is to reach out to the resources, connect to the resources around you in your community, in your family, in your friends that are your tribe, that is your network of support, that wants to see you move forward, rise.
Right.
So you've got three resources: yourself, the higher power that is around you, and the resources, the connections in your circle.
I love that. That's absolutely incredible. And when you talk about, connecting with yourself first, right? So often we forget about, believing and looking at that internal GPS, right?
That's
and we look to the
right.
external world. We look to everywhere else but within for the guidance and the answers that we're looking for. which is very detrimental to all of our success, right? It's detrimental, for us to thrive.
Exactly.
And the other point that you made was, reaching out to those resources that are available to you, right? Your network of friends, your cheerleaders. That's what your network is essentially. Your cheerleaders to help lift you up and prop you up. I absolutely love that. When you looked at, from you've had a number of transitions in your life, right? So from moving your childhood to relationships and careers, what was that like for you?
Wow. Once again, there's the soulful connection piece. And then the other big piece is, and I know you want to talk about this, but is the self-love. What came out of those, I want to say hardships, because at the time they were really hard things to move through. But I realized that ultimately we have to love ourselves through these transitions. Self-love is our powerhouse.
Right.
It's the foundation of how we're going to move forward. And so it's like building a house on sand. It's not gonna hold. When we can build on self-love, that is the bricks and mortar that helps to keep us grounded and stable and gives us the strength and the power to move through these things. So I learned to come back to myself and to see myself as you would see a child or a parent, through the loving eyes, through the compassion that you need to thrive. So there's a lot in self-love that I think is really, really important for us to really connect to.
We're going to dive into self-love in the next segment, but you touched on some really good nuggets that I want to expand on quickly before we transition. It's that foundation. You talk about the bricks and mortars. And oftentimes, as women or individuals as a whole, right? We look at our past and our mistakes as mistakes and regrets. But essentially, they're lessons learned. They're the foundations for which you can thrive on.
Truly,
right?
Truly. Such a good point, Alethia. We all have a past. We all have these experiences. But I've always chosen to see it as an opportunity to learn and grow. No regrets.
Yes.
No regrets. Regrets hold us back. Those are the blocks and barriers that prevent the possibilities. So we have to accept the journey, the good and the bad of life, as all part of life lessons that really ultimately can further empower us and propel us forward. So I encourage all women not to stay in regret.
I love it. I love it. Your regrets are your lessons learned, your foundation to propel you forward.
Yes.
That's incredible. We're going to go to a short break, but we're going to come back and we're going to talk about, the path to possibilities, right? We're going to talk about self-love and dive into that a little bit deeper, because as parents, as women, we tend to leave ourselves last, right?
It's so true. And just a quick note on that, there was a time, and I think in our generation, Alethia, I think you would agree, if we thought about self-love, we were taught that it was vain. Right? It's taken us a while to get to this new perspective of what is self-love.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. We're going to take a short break and we're going to pick up from self-love. So stay tuned as we talk about Path to Possibilities in the next segment.
Like movies? You know I do. That's why I see all of them. And if you want to know which ones you should see too, check out the latest Cinema Scene reviews and interviews. They're hot, fresh, and delicious, and they're online at rogerstv.com/cinemascene, popcorn not included. This offer is available everywhere. Tell your friends, be the first on your block to click rogerstv.com/cinemascene. It's so nice, we have to mention it twice.
You're watching Rogers TV.
Welcome back to In Conversation with Alethia. I'm in the studio with Cheryl Spalding, a women's empowerment and wellness coach. And in this segment, we're going to talk about self-love. Self-love, something that we often tend to neglect, and it is so critical to our success and our survival. So Cheryl, let's dive a little bit more into self-love and what that truly means. Is self-love just going to the beach and, with a good book and, taking in the rays? What is self-love?
Well, I spent some time thinking about this, and there are different perspectives. Some people feel that, self-love is buying themselves clothing or gifts or going to the beach and sort of more of an adornment kind of self-love. And then there's the self-love that really isn't anything like that. It's really about going deeper again within yourself and learning to really trust yourself, to expand yourself to the possibilities of life, to develop a new sense of awareness of what's really important to you, what lights you up, what are you aligned with that raises that vibration within yourself. Because our vibration is part of our inner connection, and it's what turns on the creativeness. So self-love is an inner journey, I believe.
Right.
And the more we can connect with ourselves, the stronger we are, the more empowered we are, and I'm all for women's empowerment. That's what this is all about, right?
Yes.
It's just building that feminine power that is really a primal. It's a primal part of us as women. We all have it, but it's tapping into it. It's opening it up, and again, that's part of that soulful journey of self-love. I mean, the two just kind of go together.
I love it. And that, self-love can be different for everyone, right? So you may love spending time on the beach. You may love adorning yourself with, beautiful jewelry, right? It's whatever makes you feel whole again.
That's right.
Oh, I love that.
Right. That's right. And sometimes it's a little bit of both. It's a balance of both. It's allowing ourselves to enjoy these gifts that we're giving ourselves.
Right. And so we talked a little bit about it. Why is it important? I want to expand on that and dig a little deeper. Why is self-love important?
Well, again, it's important because, to me, if we don't have the depth of self-love, then I believe there's a piece of us missing. For example, our self-worth. If we don't have self-worth, that's like pulling one of the blocks out of the foundation.
Right.
So self-love is acknowledging your value, acknowledging your worthiness to be loved, to be heard, to be seen, to have a voice. So self-love, I think, is very much connected to our self-worth, and that's huge. Self-worth is so important.
And, as moms, as busy professionals, you name it, why is it so important? I think one of the critical things that we always take for granted is that as moms, we have to take care of the family first, right? As professionals, we have to, put all of our energy and effort into that career, right? And then you neglect yourself, but that's counterproductive, isn't it?
Yes.
Right? You need to have
yes.
your cup full before you can give. It's like when you're on the airplane, what do they always say?
That's right.
Take care of your health first. Put on your oxygen mask first before you're able to help your neighbor, your friends.
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
that is powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, it brings me back to the this dual energy of the masculine and the feminine. There's a part of us that is masculine that goes to work and has the career and we're focused. And then there's the feminine part of us that's the nurturer, that wants to keep the home life going, look after the children, be supportive to everyone. And it's interesting in this generation of women that we find ourselves in this dual masculine feminine sort of space, because we've been given the gifts really by our grandmothers, our mothers, and our great-great-grandmothers, and all the women and all the generations of mothers before us worked hard and gave up and sacrificed so that the next generation could have more. They could be more and have more opportunity. And really, we're one of the first generations of women who are really having it both ways.
Right. Yes.
So we are kind of unique in this transition in the evolution of women and how we're coping with self-love inside of this role as a career woman and as a mom and wife. So it's a very interesting time and dynamic as women try to balance these two elements of who we are in the masculine and the feminine energy and the self-love that needs to, again, be foundational in both of these areas.
Right, and you know what, you're touching on some really, really great nuggets here, and one of the key things I'm hearing, it's okay to love yourself first, right?
Yes.
It's okay to have self-love and take care of you no matter what, right? Because in order to help the world, in order to be of service to the world, you need to be okay. You need to be whole.
100%. You're right.
I love it.
We can't be of service in the way that we want to be if we're running on empty.
Yes.
So yes, self-love is about truly filling ourselves up first to be the best version of ourselves that we can be for everyone.
Oh my gosh, I absolutely love it. And here we are talking about the path to possibilities, and you as an entrepreneur, a businesswoman, and a woman's empowerment and wellness coach, you have dedicated your life to service, right? You started off in one field, which was service, and you're now in the career stage of your life where you're providing service to women and helping them to thrive. Why was this so important for you to navigate into this realm?
I've always been so inspired to want to empower women, and I believe it started really from a young age. Even in high school, I was always cheering all my girlfriends on, cheering my team on. And it's just it's a natural way, it's a natural thing for me to inspire and empower, and it started a long time ago. But I realized, I think it was in my 40s, that I had a very powerful calling to really step into that in a more powerful way. And I would say, I'm 56.
You can't say that. You're 26. It's okay. You're 26.
56, feel 26. But yeah, I'm really stepping into that more powerfully.
Right.
And really owning it and taking it to the next level. Reaching higher. And that's one of the things I love to say about women. Keep reaching higher. The possibilities are unlimited. Open yourself up, expand yourself. Be the visionary for your life. Because we have to take responsibility, for our lives. We are the visionaries. We are the creators. And as women, we are naturally creators.
That's our gift.
Yeah.
That's our gift.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What would you say to a young woman or even someone in their midlife who's afraid, simply afraid of making that change?
Like making the change to
do the thing that lights them up.
To do the
right?
thing that lights them
maybe
up.
they're stuck in a career 9 to 5 that's just not serving them.
Right.
Right. Maybe they've been at home taking care of their family for a number of years, and now they want to step out into the world and do something different, do something more.
Right.
But they're afraid.
Well, I'm so glad we're having this conversation because I've been developing something called the principles of possibility. And it really is about the 5 P's. One is the past. You know, acknowledge our past. Come to terms with that, and know that your past is not a bad thing. It's all part of the journey, as we talked about earlier.
Yes.
And then connect with your passion. The second P is passion. I mean, if we're not passionate about something, you know, so connect with it, because passion ignites us, right? And we want to feel ignited, right? We want that energy. And then purpose. What is your bigger why, right? What is it that you want to do? And how is that motivating you and guiding you to take those next steps? And then possibility. So again, just opening yourself up to allow, to be creative, to be in alignment, to be in flow. Because as women, that's what we like.
Right.
We're not linear. We are more creative, and we like to be more in flow, and we like to go with what feels good for us. And I think that's huge.
Yeah.
Go with what feels good. And then power. You know, connect to the feminine power inside of yourself. So I think the past, the passion, the purpose, the possibilities, and power.
That's incredible. I love that. And this is a program that you're developing right now?
Yes, it is.
Oh
Yes,
my
it
gosh,
is.
where do I sign up? This is incredible.
Yeah, I love it. And it just came, you know, it just comes when you just allow. It's amazing. We do get downloads, you know, when you really want something and you're willing to listen in. Again, connecting and open, and these ideas and thoughts just come to you, but we have to be present.
Right.
We have to stop the external distractions of our life. If we, you know, and so again, just coming back to yourself ultimately and allowing that creativity to flow into you.
Absolutely amazing. We are about to come to the end of the show, and I want you to leave our audience with one word of encouragement or a phrase. What would that be, just to inspire them?
Oh my goodness.
Stepping into your possibilities.
You know, I was just going to say that, you know, step in exactly to the possibility of life.
Awesome.
And you're not alone.
Love it.
Reach out.
Love
Reach
it.
out. I am
Awesome.
here for you.
I love it. There you have it, friends. Thank you so much, Cheryl, for joining me today in Conversation with Alethia.
Thank
Tune
you.
in next time as we have another amazing guest lined up for you to talk about amazing things that is happening right here in our community. So stay tuned. See you next time.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.